हेलो एंड वेलकम। स्वागत है आपका आरसीआई के नवशिखर चैनल पर। हम एक बार फिर लौट आए हैं आपके सामने एक नए डिस्कशन और नए एक्सपर्ट के साथ। आज हम बात करने जा रहे हैं अबाउट द साइको सोशल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ डिसेबिलिटी एंड फॉर द पर्पस इन आवर स्टूडियोज वी हैव डॉक्टर एस.के. प्रसाद हु इज़ डिप्टी डायरेक्टर ऑफ इग्नू यूनिवर्सिटी। इससे पहले कि हम आज का डिस्कशन शुरू करें, मैं एक बार हमारे दर्शकों को याद दिला दूं कि आप हमारे डिस्कशन से रिलेटेड किसी भी प्रकार के प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं और आप कॉल कर सकते हैं हमारे टोल फ्री नंबर पे विच इज़ 1800111208। हमारा लैंडलाइन नंबर है 26511613 और हमारा फैक्स नंबर है 26511609। तो आइए शुरू करते हैं आज का डिस्कशन। सर, आज जैसे कि हम बात करने जा रहे हैं साइको सोशल एस्पेक्ट के बारे में। So I would just like you to tell our viewers a brief description of what does the word exactly psycho and social mean.
It's a very good question. I think that everybody know the psychological and social factor. Two factors are very important for the development of any child, or even for the whole life. These two factors work. So psychological factor basically mean those which comes in the mind and which controlled by mind, and that could be expressed through our physical or physic, you can say motor part or sensory part, and it means the psychological aspects generate in the mind and they expressed by the physical existence or our physic. So that is a psychological aspect, and that aspects is important for social factor.
All right.
Social factor is linked with the psychological factor.
So they are interrelated with each other.
Unless psychological factor will not generate social factor, it is difficult to develop a social factor. So since our ultimate goal of any society to become a social animal, because a child is a raw material. So we want any child to convert into a
social animal,
proper social animal or social. So for that social factors are essential. Here in terms of disability when we talk, तो हम ये basically we would like to say that disability somehow or other it hampers the proper development or the normal development of the child. Here a lot of you can say hurdles comes in between, for which not only the person or child concerned faces, rather the whole environment somehow or other faces the same difficulty, or you can say the difficulty which is faced by the child. So here it is very important to know how these psychological factors works for the child itself, for the parents, for the community members, for the peer group, for the siblings. So if we consider this factor, ultimately social factor will be defined. So there is no except you cannot say segregate social factor from psychological factor, because all social factor or social development you can say depends on the psychological development or psychological factor. So both these terms are interrelated
to each other.
Yes.
And how do they impact persons with a disability then?
As I told that person with disability having a specific need basically, and that needs to be understand by other. Because उसको समझने की ज़रूरत है. अगर हम हमारे नीड को अगर हम एक स्पेसिफिक नीड है, ऐसे तो इन टर्म्स ऑफ साइकोलॉजी इफ वी टॉक, तो एवरी पर्सन इज यूनिक so far as the need is concerned, but even for the disability, since somehow or other the child or the person is deprived from some organic factor or some organs or some sensory part. So here the need is differ. Only the need is to understand. Unless the need, you will not be able to understand the need. It will be difficult to intervene and to make a corrective measure, to take a corrective measure. So to plan for the proper development, because we plan for every child, not only for the children with disability, rather for every child we plan our step or action for their development. In the same way, our mindset should be like that we should plan in the same way, but we should understand the need of the child first. Need, what is the need? But what is happening right now, that we expect something but we are not getting, it means, and we assume. So, everything does not depend on assumption. We should keep ourselves in reality. That is main factor that we should keep in mind.
Yeah.
And for that we can I will just to have a look of this slides for which we can have a look, and I have made only few slides for you, and we can discuss in detail. I will discuss, I will means request the viewers that they can ask the question whatever comes in their mind, and I will try my best to come with the solution.
Yeah.
So, let us have a look of the slide. As I have described the psychosocial aspects, this refers to entire behavior pattern, whether it is developed or developing. Whether the it means whether the child is developing in a developing stage or developed, it's hardly matter, but the psycho and social factors affect, and it consists of contribution of mind and body for balanced personality development. As you know that I think you might be knowing that personality development is a combination of psychological and physical factor.
Absolutely.
In close collaboration, or you can say in close connection with the environment. So,
Right.
unless these two factors will not contribute in the environment, this personality will stuck
Somewhere.
The development will hamper. So, when we particularly in case of children with disability, the problem is more, I can say not, I will not say problem, rather you can say that effort should be more from our part to just understand and then take it easy, just make it usual. So, it all depends on our perception, how we perceive, but what happens that we perceive anything as a problem. This is one of the problem also in terms of our perception. So, for balanced personality development, the coordination, a good coordination between mind and body is must, and for only with the result of a balanced coordination, a personality is developed.
Yeah.
So, for the whole development period, we cannot segregate our children to that they don't need personality. They need, they are basically they are more in need for their development. So, if we take into account all these two factors, particularly psychological factor and social factor, I think it is my view that our effort will get a more benefit, more you can say result, positive result you can say, rather than without having consideration of these two factors.
All right. So sir, जैसे हमने psychosocial aspect की बात की, so you mean to say that whosoever is present in the environment, they have an important role to play in that.
Yes.
Okay. तो सर आप और क्या बताना चाहेंगे इस बारे में?
Now I will just describe this slide, then I can go for the discussion. This is my point of view. And so let's have a look of this slide. This disability is a condition which somehow or other disrupt the normal development of psychological and social behavior. As I have already described this, but both the terms are interrelated as one dependent on other. The better social development depends on the better psychological phenomena such as learning, perception, understanding, expression. So, psychological phenomena we cannot restrict only these four factors, rather learning, perception, understanding,
Expression.
rather every aspect of our, you can say, mind, or you can say the mental behavior is a psychological phenomena. But that psychological phenomena expressed through our physical phenomena. So, that is behavior. So, behavior is a, you can say behavior is a outcome of psychological phenomenon.
Right.
So, we must take care that all these phenomenon, how these psychological phenomenon are taking care of, or all these psychological phenomena, like if we are giving some clues to any child, but child should be able to understand, at least comprehend. If the child is not comprehending, it means there is some
difficulty
in the channel,
right,
in the channel.
Right.
So, the channel should be properly understood. Unless we are not able to understood, it is difficult to channelize the agent between mind and body.
Okay.
So, this is a concept, because disability is a, you can say, one factor which is coming in between. In between means in between child and the environment.
Right.
So this is hampering because the environment is not getting that much support from the child as it is required.
It can be vice versa.
Yeah, vice
also?
versa, and child is also not getting that much of support from the environment as it is required.
Yeah.
And why? It is disability. So we have to counter the disability. And disability is what? Now the question is, disability is what? So now see this slide. I will go some ahead because sorry. Yeah.
तो सर जैसा कि अभी आपने हमें साइको सोशल एस्पेक्ट के बारे में बताया, so how can you enhance these psychosocial aspects so that it will facilitate the learning for persons with a disability?
No, just I will describe, because psychological factor, basically what happens when we talk about the psychological and social factor, a lot of question comes in mind, like what are the psychological factor, and we think that psychological factor is something very new things and very innovative. Not like that. Psychological factor is everywhere. Whenever we talk about the behavior, there is psychological factor. So this is obvious that if something extra with us, like I have some problem of physical problem, you can say. That day I have fever. I am not able to perform my duty as I am performing usually before that. So fever is stucking our functioning. In the same way, disability is a condition which stuck the functioning of the person or child. This is one of the things which we take into consideration.
Okay.
Yes.
Before we move on, यहाँ पे लेंगे हम छोटा सा ब्रेक और हम अपने डिस्कशन को जारी रखेंगे इस ब्रेक के बाद.
The chief handicap of the blindness is not blindness, but the attitude of seeing people towards them. आइए जानने और समझने की कोशिश करते हैं कि बधिरांधता यानी डेफ ब्लाइंडनेस क्या है। बधिरांधता एक स्थिति है जिसमें दृष्टिहीनता एवं सुनने की शक्ति में कमी आती है तथा जिससे विचारों के आदान प्रदान और रोजमर्रा की आवश्यकताओं की पूर्ति में समस्या उत्पन्न होती है। बलराम एक 9 साल का बधिरांत बच्चा है। वो एक प्री मैच्योर बच्चा है जिसका शारीरिक विकास उसकी आयु के अनुरूप नहीं हुआ था। वो एक निम्न वर्गीय श्रेणी से संबंध रखता है तथा 5 साल से लगातार नेशनल एसोसिएशन फॉर ब्लाइंड दिल्ली के प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम से संलग्न है। इन 5 सालों के अंतर्गत उसे रोजमर्रा के कामों में, हलन चलन में, उसकी शैक्षणिक जरूरतों के अनुसार संप्रेषण द्वारा प्रशिक्षण दिया गया है जिससे वो इन सब क्रियाओं में स्वावलंबी बन सके। बलराम बिना किसी सहायता के चाकू से फलों को काट सकता है। उनके छिलकों को कूड़ेदान में डाल सकता है। अपने बर्तनों को खुद साफ कर सकता है। उन्हें सही जगह पर रख सकता है। सही बर्तनों का चयन करके खुद खाना खाता है। एवं पानी की बोतल निकालकर पानी भी पीता है। इन सभी क्रियाओं में वो टेक्चुअल साइन लैंग्वेज से निर्देशों को ग्रहण करता है और अपने भावों को व्यक्त करता है। टेलर फ्रेम और ब्रेलर द्वारा गणित, पठन लेखन में भी प्रशिक्षण प्राप्त कर रहा है। सभी बच्चों की तरह उसका भी एक मनपसंद खेल है। उसे सेल फोन को अपने कानों पर लगाकर उसका कंपन महसूस करना अच्छा लगता है। कहा जाता है, वॉकिंग विद अ फ्रेंड इन डार्क इज बेटर देन वॉकिंग अलोन इन लाइट। कहने का तात्पर्य है कि वो लॉन्ग केन ट्रेवल, टैक्टाइल पाथ, ट्रेलिंग और लैंडमार्क्स द्वारा हलन चलन में भी सक्षम है और व्यायाम संबंधी क्रियाएं जैसे ट्रेडमिल, स्टैटिक साइकिल का स्वचालन भी कर सकता है। कहा गया है, द बेस्ट एंड मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल थिंग्स इन द वर्ल्ड कैन नॉट बी सीन और इवन टच्ड, दे मस्ट बी फेल्ट विद द हार्ट।
वेलकम बैक आफ्टर द ब्रेक पे जाने से पहले हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि किस प्रकार साइको और सोशल एस्पेक्ट जो है वो इम्पैक्ट करता है एक पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी के लर्निंग को, परसेप्शन को, एक्सप्रेशन को, और क्या क्या महत्व है हर एक व्यक्ति का या हर एक इंसान का जो एनवायरनमेंट में प्रेजेंट है व्हेन इट कम्स टू द फंक्शनिंग ऑफ पर्सन्स विद अ डिसेबिलिटी। तो सर, जैसा आपने हमें ये बताया कि जो साइकोलॉजिकल फिनोमिना है, इट्स अबाउट माइंड, यू नो, विच इज़ एक्सप्रेस्ड थ्रू द फिजिकल एक्सिस्टेंस। सो जैसे फिजिकल एक्सिस्टेंस की अगर हम बात करते हैं, सो व्हाट आर द बिहेवियर्स, यू नो, थ्रू विच इट कैन बी एक्सप्रेस्ड?
इट्स अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। बेसिकली psychological, if we mean the psychological phenomena that starts from the, you can say that learning.
Okay.
You can say the first, I am taking a learning as a as an
primary
example
step
for learning, because learning starts from the very beginning of the development.
Right.
So when we talk about the learning, it does not mean only the learning in the school or learning in a formal environment, but इसका मतलब है कि हमारा लर्निंग घर में भी होता है। एक लर्निंग घर से शुरू होता है। हम कहते भी हैं कि हमारा जो परिवार जो है सब पहली पाठशाला है। तो जब हम लर्निंग की बात करते हैं, घर में जो भी लर्निंग होता है उसके लिए बच्चे को कहीं ना कहीं तैयार होना पड़ता है। हम बच्चे को अगर ये भी सिखाते हैं कि ये काम नहीं करना चाहिए, क्यों नहीं करना चाहिए?
Right.
Unless you will not answer this question, child will not be able to learn. So ये आंसर देना पड़ता है, यानी कि बच्चे में एक रेडीनेस होनी चाहिए। तो वो रेडीनेस जो है ना, यहाँ पे जब भी हमारे इन लर्निंग एंड चाइल्ड, दीज टू आर द वेरिएबल्स, और जब दोनों के बीच में कुछ भी फैक्टर आएगा तो हमारा वो लर्निंग डिस्टर्ब होगा।
Okay.
ठीक है ना? तो यहाँ पर क्या है कि डिसेबिलिटी हमारे लर्निंग को डिस्टर्ब कर रहा है। उसी तरह सेम फैक्टर अगर हम इंटेलिजेंस की बात करते हैं, इंटेलिजेंस, यू नो, द बुद्धि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है जो कि होना बहुत ज़रूरी है और सभी के पास होता है। इवन अगर हम मंदबुद्धि बच्चों की बात करते हैं, उनके पास भी इंटेलिजेंस लेवल होता है। फ़र्क इतना ही है कि जैसे हम लोगों में भी क्या है कि हमारे पास, अगर हम दो लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं, हो सकता है हमारे पास इंटेलिजेंस का लेवल, जो आईक्यू लेवल है, वो कम हो, आपके पास ज़्यादा हो। उसी तरह से मंदबुद्धि बच्चों के पास भी आईक्यू लेवल होता है, बस फ़र्क इतना ही होता है कि कुछ कम होता है, कहीं पे ज़्यादा होता है
जी।
तो उस आईक्यू लेवल को भी मैनेज करना। अब आईक्यू लेवल कम है वो अलग फैक्टर है, एक मंदबुद्धि, लेकिन अगर एक हियरिंग इम्पेयर्ड बच्चा है, एक विजुअल इम्पेयर्ड बच्चा है, उनका आईक्यू लेवल ज़्यादा भी हो सकता है और एक नॉर्मल भी हो
बिल्कुल।
सकता है, नॉर्मल जो हमारे अदर बच्चे के साथ होता है उतना भी हो सकता है।
जी।
तो यहाँ पर हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि अगर IQ लेवल है तो उसको कैसे मैनेज करें। एंड IQ अब इंटेलिजेंस, IQ क्या है, रिफ्लेक्शन ऑफ इंटेलिजेंस। तो हम इंटेलिजेंस क्या है हम देखेंगे। इंटेलिजेंस जो है एक कैपेसिटी है। इंटेलिजेंस क्या है, इंटेलिजेंस एक क्षमता है। हमारे पास एक क्षमता है, उसको हम कहते हैं इंटेलिजेंस। और कैपेसिटी ऑफ व्हाट, किस चीज़ की क्षमता है ये इंटेलिजेंस। तो क्षमता है कैपेसिटी टू
समझने की, आई मीन यू नो
समझने
समझने की, एक्सप्रेशन की, हर
Yes.
चीज की,
कैपेसिटी
टू इंटरैक्ट विद द एनवायरनमेंट,
capacity to understand,
Yeah.
capacity to interact with the environment, capacity to adjust with the environment.
राइट,
Because adjustment भी एक important factor है।
एब्सोल्युटली।
अब ये तीन फैक्टर, ये तीन क्षमताएं होनी चाहिए इंटेलिजेंस में। सभी क्षमताएं हैं, लेकिन उन क्षमताओं को यूज करने के लिए हमें तैयार होना पड़ता है। जैसे लर्निंग के लिए तैयार होना है, उसी तरह से इन क्षमताओं को यूज करने के लिए, टू यूज ऑल दिस कैपेसिटी वी शुड हैव रेडीनेस।
राइट,
यहाँ पर भी डिसेबिलिटी
हैम्पर
हैम्पर करेगा, करता है। अब क्या करना है कि देखना है कि हाउ टू रिमूव। यू कैन नॉट रिमूव डिसेबिलिटी, बट वी कैन ओवरकम, और वी कैन गिव सम सपोर्ट टू ओवरकम फॉर द टाइम बिंग, टू ओवरकम विद दैट सिचुएशन। तो इसी तरह से परसेप्शन है। परसेप्शन इज व्हाट,
आई थिंक परसेप्शन इज समझना एवरीथिंग,
समथिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड इन ए होलिस्टिक मैनर। परसेप्शन होलिस्टिक और एनालिटिकल मैनर में जब हम किसी प्रोसेस को करते हैं या किसी वस्तु के बारे में समझते हैं, तो प्रत्यक्षीकरण है या परसेप्शन है। उस परसेप्शन को हम कैसे समझते हैं। बच्चा समझ रहा है, तो हम समझते हैं कि बच्चे को नहीं समझ आ रहा है, तो ये हमारी परसेप्शन का प्रॉब्लम है। बच्चे का परसेप्शन का प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुआ। यहाँ पर क्या है, ये हमारी परसेप्शन का प्रॉब्लम। तो ये मेरे कहने का मतलब ये है, व्हाट आई मीन टू से, दैट साइकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर नॉट ओनली अफेक्ट द चाइल्ड, rather it affects whole environment, including parent, community members, siblings, peer group, etc., etc. So this is a very important factor which needs to understand. Again I am telling that this line I will repeatedly tell that it needs to understand. In the same way, you see that when we come across with any difficulty or any type of you can say hindrance, our behavior pattern change. Everybody knows it. So in the same way, since child having a disability, they are child, then they disabled. So disability is a condition. So first their main you can say the main nature is
the
childish nature, human being nature. So they also perceive in the same manner. But what happened, that it something comes in between that affects the perception. So this disability, since it is in between, this is in between factor, you can say intervening factor. So ये हम पर करता है परसेप्शन को कहीं ना कहीं पे। और उससे क्या होता है कि हमारा नज़रिया, बच्चे का नज़रिया भी खराब होता है, बच्चे का नज़रिया भी बदल जाता है, और साथ साथ बच्चे के साथ रहने वाले लोगों का भी नज़रिया बदल जाता है, क्योंकि वो समझते हैं कि बच्चा ऐसा ही है, जबकि हम बच्चे को समझने में हमारी कहीं ना कहीं भूल हो रही है, हमें समझने में कोई कठिनाई हो रही है, हम समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं। इसके लिए कहीं ना कहीं हमें जब भी ज़रूरत हो हम एक्सपर्ट का भी सहायता ले सकते हैं। तो साइकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर को ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि बहुत कोई कठिन कार्य है, ये हम समझ सकते हैं अगर थोड़ा सा एफर्ट करें, समझने की कोशिश करें। यहाँ हमें भी उतना ही कोशिश करना पड़ता है जितना बच्चे को कोशिश करना पड़ता है, दोनों के लिए ऑलमोस्ट बराबर है ये फैक्टर। टू वे प्रोसेस। क्योंकि मैंने साइको सोशल की बात हमेशा करते हैं हम कि साइकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर जहाँ रहेगा सोशल फैक्टर वहीं रहेगा, क्योंकि साइकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर कंट्रीब्यूट करता है सोशल फैक्टर को। Unless the psychological factor will not contribute, social factor will not generate. So social factor, because social behavior like laughing or smiling in response for other smile, this is a social behavior. But it is a learned behavior also. Unless we are not having experience of such type of behavior, it is difficult to respond in such a manner. So this is a acquired behavior, you can say. So any behavior is a acquired behavior. Even social behavior like physical behavior is also acquired behavior. We acquired how to walk, we acquired how to talk, we acquired how to run. In the same way, all social behavior mostly they are acquired behavior, either acquired by practice or acquired by role model. We sometimes we take the model of our father, our other family members and our siblings. sometimes from the community. So, all child has a capacity, a lot of a huge capacity, every child has a huge capacity, including the children with disability, and they perceive, they act, only the action is different, not the perception is different. So, psychological factor you can say more or less are the same with the normal child, you can say, or with the children with disability, but here the action and response differs from person to person, and this not only happens with the children with disability or person with disability, rather it happens with the everyone, each and every person, because each and every person is unique in terms of their characteristics, in terms of their uniqueness, in terms of their behavior, in terms of their response, in terms of their acquisition of learning, in terms of their personality. So, personality is a, you can say that not something which is generated by heredity, rather it is a combination of heredity and environment both.
Okay.
Or not only heredity and environment, rather you can say that it is a combination of mental factor, psychological, like psychological factor, social factor and personal factor also.
ओके तो जैसे सर ये तो बात हो गई पॉजिटिव बिहेवियर्स की, स्माइल एंड लाफिंग, but can it lead to the negative behaviors also on the contrary?
Yes, certainly. As you can say that if something is not being used properly, it diverts in a first it diverts in a negative manner.
Okay.
So, shaping a child behavior is a very, you can say, not a simple task, rather it is a tough task, but it is our duty also to shape a child's behavior always. So, that is why every parent takes care of their child. Unless you are not intervening in between of the child behavior, it will not be saved. In the same way, if we talk about the children with disability, their behavior also needs some sort of shaping, and that shaping requires intervention. How? Now it depends on how we are intervening. Suppose if a child having a learning disability, dyslexia or something else, but we are not able to understand, we are not able to recognize that the child is having some learning disability. So, what happened? In that way we recognize that the child is dull, child cannot write, cannot read. So, the child is getting a wrong guidance there, wrong perception of the parents, and that perception hampers his whole behavior, whole development. Ultimately what happened? That you will lose a child with a negative behavior, because child will develop some sort of negative behavior, and that will be the result of the parental behavior, not the child own behavior. This is a parental behavior which makes the child to lead negative behavior,
right.
And that negative behavior, like hyperactivity, you can say that, you can see this slide, aggressive behavior, you can see that aggressive disruption, this includes hitting others, throwing objects around, damaging things, etc., etc. This is very common, particularly with the children with having hearing impairment. What happens? Because if they are not getting proper attention, they are
throwing things away,
they will do such type of things for getting attention. So, why not parents give attention to them? And if something happening because some siblings are getting attention and the child having hearing impairment not getting attention, this type of behavior would develop. In the same way, in the case of person with disability, not children, rather person with disability, if we are not able to convince the person with disability in a proper manner, what happened? Some sort of suspiciousness will develop, and that suspiciousness lead to the negative behavior. So, this happens with every age, not only the children with disability, in every age. If you can say that a person having a locomotor disability, if you are not giving a proper attention, what happens? Some sort of you can say that complex will develop. Complex, inferiority complex will develop, and whenever that person becomes grown, will be grown up, that complex affects his whole pattern of development.
Right.
And some sort of social, you can say, revengeful character may also develop. So, this is the you can say this is the ultimate response from the behavior which is coming from the very beginning of the development.
So, it's a long-term process.
So, if we are not able to check it, or not able to convince, or not able to recognize, or you can say perceive at the very beginning of development, it will affect the whole developmental period of the child, you can say person.
Yeah.
So, and person's self image is also get disturbed in that way.
So, you know, we can lead.
So other behavior, you can see that hyperactivity. Hyperactivity you can easily observe in a child having hearing impairment, child having learning disability, in children having mental retardation, even some children of locomotor disability also. So, hyperactivity, what some children find it hard to sit still in one place, because this hyperactivity is, it's a lack of concentration. Lack of concentration, here concentration is not there. So, concentration is required for everything, for learning, for you can say at least for having a proper understanding of the things,
that focus has
having
to
a
be
proper
there.
attention of the environment, concentration is required. But if child is not getting that those things from the normal phenomena, the child perception will disturb, and that may lead to hyperactivity. So, this is hyperactivity is not a behavior which is generated from the, which is inherited, rather it is a acquired behavior, acquired negative behavior, you can
which
say.
is influenced by the factors from the environment only.
From the social factor, you can say, social factor.
Social
So, here you can see that the social factor is more or less responsible for the hyperactivity.
Okay.
And the next you can say this temper tantrum is a very you can say very common term, just aggressive, just like aggressiveness. It's also a behavior which basically expressed or you can say exhibit for attention seeking. So, we call it as an attention seeking behavior also. But this also develops not in a day, rather it takes time in development.
Okay.
So, all it needs that when how we are behaving, unless we will not behave, other children behavior will not be affected. So, children behavior or children with disability, you can say the behavior, their behavior depends on our behavior. So, it is very important here to understand the psychological factor, because we are contributing somehow or other as a social factor, and psychological factor is coming from the child.
Okay.
So, both factors should having a proper match.
So, we can lead
balance.
to the conclusion
Yes.
that every behavior has a reason behind it.
Yes, every behavior has a reason, and that reason must be understood. Unless it is not understood, it will lead to another reason.
Okay. So, there are various factors that affecting the psychological phenomena.
Yes, yes, sure. So many factors.
Okay.
You can say social factor, and social factors is leading to psychological factor, and psychological factor is leading to social factor. So, these both are interlinked, even in the negative terms, even in positive terms. In both the terms, the two aspects are very important and interrelated.
Okay.
So, we can see the other slide also, social behavior. Now, see that social factors, rejection by parents, relations, neighbors, and tense atmosphere at home. This is even not good for the child having been be so called normal. This is not good for the child, for any person. But if this is happening, this will lead to the psychological behavior, psychological factor. And there is some psychological, you can say now problem behavior can arise, like hyperactivity, and even you can say the passivity can also arise. And anxiety can also arise, some depression can also lead to the mental health problem. Yes. Then cognitive factor, poor language and communication skills and problem solving skills. Cognitive factors, cognitive intelligence comes in this factor. Language, poor language, but we need to understand why it is poor. It is not poor language, but language is a acquired phenomena. So, why it is poor? Somewhere it is disrupted. So, if it is recognized, if it is identified at the very beginning of the development, it will be good for the development of the child. And like emotional factor, you know the emotion basically what are the main emotions? Basically anger, fear and love. These three are the main emotions. All these three are interrelated to each other. So, anger, I have already described something about the aggression. Aggression is you can say that outcome of anger.
Okay.
Yeah, aggressive behavior, and aggression leads to frustration also. Frustration is again a psychological factor, and frustration leads to
Then again depression,
violence and
violence,
something,
right.
anything is there.
Ji.
So all psychological problems, you can say, now I am coming to the problem, that problems arise out
Out
of
of these.
these personal factor and social factor.
Okay.
Now I would like to describe something about the psychological makeup. As we have already talked that disability contributed to development of various disruptive image in terms of perception, thinking and action. Because you all know that disability somehow or other person's personal perception, you can say person's perception disrupt or disturbed. This will create a wrong self image about the person themselves. Here self perception is disturbed and some wrong image about the self is developed. This is not good. That must be corrected at the very beginning of the development of that image.
Okay, so we start, thinking, pessimistically about ourselves
Yes,
in that situation.
Yes. I am not capable.
Yeah.
I am not able to perform well. I am not, because I have some problems. So these are the thinking which needs some sort of interaction or attention, you can say, by the parents, by the community member, by the other who are available in around us. Yes, around
right.
us.
And it can be, it can be sought out by a professional help also.
Yes, certainly professionals comes afterward. First our home. First we should keep care in the home, then we should think about the professional. Professional is ultimate, but first aid is given at the home. Unless you are not giving first aid, it is difficult to go to the professional. So professional help is always you can say recommended, always recommended, and it is always welcome, and professional support is required. That's why I can, many efforts is going on to develop a lot of professional and all sorts of professional who are required for the rehabilitation of the disabled children, we can say person with disability. So the emotional imbalance, this is also very important factor, social factor, you can say psychological factor. Due to the above, like wrong image creates problem in normal development of the children with disability. Okay. Emotional imbalance means imbalance in the anger, not properly expressed or depressed or suppressed. Is suppressed anger is very dangerous, expressed anger is slightly less dangerous, but suppressed anger is very much dangerous. That leads to anxiety, that leads to depression. And then this you can say fear. Fear, when we develop a fear forever about ourselves, that I am not capable, and this is one of type of fear, that I am not capable. As somebody fears with a computer, I am not able to handle computer, they fear with that. Somebody fear with the driving. So this fear is everywhere, but any type of fear always disturb the development.
But it can be overcome also at the same time.
It can be overcome with proper help and proper intervention.
Okay.
Yes. Intervention is always there. Only for intervention we are talking, because unless we will not intervene in between, it will be difficult to overcome with the problem, overcome with the even any sort of not only problem, rather any phenomenon. Yes.
So this emotional imbalance can also impact the whole personality development.
Yes, certainly. Whole personality, because imbalance in any factor, not only emotion, rather even intelligence. Imbalance in intelligence. I have intelligence, but I am not getting chance to use. That also creates a lots of problem. If I am having less intelligence, I am getting more, and then people are expecting more from me. That will also create an imbalance. So any imbalance creates a problem for the person concerned.
Okay.
Yes, this is very you can say normal phenomenon. Any type of, particularly in our expectation and obligation. People are expecting a lot, but they are not obliged to give a proper input to me for fulfilling their expectations. This also creates a problem. In the same way, we expect that child should do this, but we are not obliging the child with the proper input.
Okay.
So input is required, input is must here. Input means our intervention is must. Unless we will not intervene with proper strategy, it is difficult to get out of that
Okay.
any imbalance.
Okay, so sir, suppose if a child has started exhibiting the negative behaviors,
Hmm.
then how important is it to modify them at right point of time?
No, first of all, negative behavior, you recognize what is the negative behavior.
Yeah.
First of all, identify the negative behavior.
Hmm.
What are, like throwing something, throwing an object out of the place.
Yeah.
This is also a negative behavior.
Hmm.
Or beating someone is also a negative behavior. Not eating properly is also a negative behavior.
Then trying to escape deliberately from a
This is also a
situation is
negative
also
behavior.
negative behavior.
But so far as the child with disability is concerned,
Yeah.
their negative behavior is something different from the child having no disability.
Yeah.
So the negative behavior differs in that, in the terms of disability also.
Okay.
Because here disability compels the child to develop some negative behavior or some negative image or some negative thought, you can say. Here one factor. Other factor is our environment compels the child to think like that, to develop a negative behavior, some sort of negative behavior. The other way around, that children themselves develop some negative behavior or some escape tendency also develop due to overprotection. Here overprotection is also a social factor, you can say, but it is hampering the psychological factor also.
Okay.
Because overprotection means you are not getting chance to make effort.
We are not providing the enough opportunity to
Here
the child.
opportunity, you can say the opportunity deprivation is there.
Yeah.
So this is also one of the biggest, you can say, stumbling block for the development. I have seen many children who were having a great difficulty when they were overprotected, but after professional intervention, their parents have been advised and they have given the chance to their children to just come up, make some effort for the same, make effort for at least demand for the food or fix a time that time food is available, then why the person will demand for the food?
Right.
So first just give the chance to demand. Even that I think I have seen that that demanding process creates some sort of opportunity for the child having disability to recognize themselves.
Okay.
Themselves means recognize their potential, because they have the potential. Every child has potential, in the same way they have also the potential. But here what the problem is, that we underestimate them. Why we underestimate them? Because we think that disability is coming in between, that is why the potential
will not be able to perform
potential is not that much.
Okay.
But case is not like that. Potential is there and it is in place, only our perception is different. So this is one of the phenomena that we must take care.
Yeah, and at the same time other skills can also be enhanced. Suppose a child who's non-verbal,
Yes.
and he's expressing that what does he want through pointing or maybe gestures, so his communication is also enhancing at
That's
that
why I am
point of
telling,
time.
communication. For communication you have to
Yeah.
give the chance.
Yeah.
Unless you will not give the opportunity to speak, it will be difficult to develop a communication skill.
Yeah.
Unless I am not getting the chance to speak from here,
Right.
how I will how I will develop my skill to communicate with the person having sitting in a remote,
Right,
because they
right.
are in a distance, but I am talking with them. This is the skill, and this is the communication skill through distance mode. So this skill must, such type of, because I am getting opportunity, that's why I am talking to them. If I am not getting that opportunity, no, it will be difficult for me. In the same way, child having a disability must get opportunity to show their potential.
Okay.
So this is one of the factor which must take care by the parents first, and then the community, then the neighborhood, then the peer group, so etc. you can say. But everybody should take care of the opportunity, that every child must get proper opportunity and
to
proper
express
time,
himself.
yes, to express their
Needs.
and for how to fulfill it.
All right.
Yeah, to make some effort to fulfill that need. This is important, very important.
मैं एक बार फिर हमारे व्यूअर्स को याद दिला दूं that if you have any queries or if you want to ask any question to our from our expert regarding our topic today, then you can call us on our toll-free number, which is 1800-11-20008. Our landline number is 265-11613 and our fax number is 265-11609. सर जैसे हमने अभी बिहेवियर्स की बात की थी, तो स्पेशली व्हेन इट कम्स टू चिल्ड्रन विद डिसेबिलिटीज, कैन वी से दैट यू नो दीज बिहेवियर्स एक्ट्स एज communication, मतलब you know suppose a child is you know non-verbal and he's throwing things away, or if he's trying to escape from a certain situation, so maybe you know that's the way of how they're communicating their needs.
Yes, this may be it is your perception, but this may be the case. There is no harm in accepting that this may be the case, and this may be one of the ways of communicating the things.
Yeah,
but this is one of the way to give a message also, that you are not taking care me properly, that's why I am accepting this, I am doing this.
Yeah,
so this message is also, but now it depends on the parents how they accept that message, how they recognize that message, how they understood that message, how they understand the message. So understanding of the environment, understanding of the agents available in the environment, like parent, community member, or any family member, or even siblings, or even peer group. So these are all the agents which are available in the community. So it is their duty to recognize whether this is intentional behavior, or this is something which has generated by something else,
okay,
or generated by their own.
so the reason has to be understood
reason has
properly.
to be understood properly.
Yeah.
Here I must accept that some professional help is required here. It is not possible for all the parents. It is possible for the parent, but not possible all the parents all the time to understand all type of behavior, all type of psychological factors, all type of psychological behavior. That's why here I must accept, I must suggest you also that professional help is required here, and you are getting professional help, we should not hesitate even. We should go with the to the experts available within the area. Yes, this is also a fact that somewhere experts is not available, but anyhow we can reach to the experts. It may be in the distance. Now distance is no more. It can be covered through technology. So we can reach to any experts at any time. Now only need is to make the proper effort for reaching to the experts. So this is also very important. What you have asked, that is very important.
Okay. सर जैसे हमने अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ की बात की थी, तो यू जस्ट टोल्ड अस कि अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ प्रोवाइड करना बहुत ज़रूरी है बच्चे को. सो व्हाट रोल डज अ फैमिली प्ले व्हेन इट कम्स टू प्रोवाइडिंग द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू द
First of all, now you have just pointed out the role of family. It's very important. I will come afterward, but since we are discussing, so there is no harm in just accepting this. The family has a great role to play. We cannot escape that we are doing something, whatever I have are doing, but no, for every child family has to play an important role, not only for the child having disability, that every child. So first of all, our mindset should be equal for every child.
Okay.
We should not segregate our child with disability with the child having no disability. We should not segregate. We should have a, so this is the inclusion. You can say in the other way, this is the inclusion which starts from the home. Unless we will not include the child at home, we will not include it anywhere. So inclusion starts from the home. So first of all, family's role is to accept the child as it is, not as we are. इसका मतलब है कि जैसा हम सोच रहे हैं कि बच्चे, होता क्या है, फैक्ट क्या है, वट एवर आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस्ड इन माई कैरियर, दैट आई हैव कम अक्रॉस सो मेनी चिल्ड्रेन. बच्चे को प्रॉब्लम है, लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटी है, बच्चे को हियरिंग प्रॉब्लम है, बट हमें ये एक्सेप्ट करने में मुश्किल हो रहा है कि बच्चे को हियरिंग प्रॉब्लम है. हमें ये एक्सेप्ट करने में मुश्किल हो रहा है कि बच्चे को मेंटल रिटार्डेशन. हम जानते हैं कि एक्सेप्ट करना बहुत टफ है, बट एक्सेप्टेंस ज़रूरी भी है. क्यों ज़रूरी है कि जब तक हम एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे हम आगे कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे. हमें एक्सेप्ट करना ज़रूरी है कि हमें, अगर हम ड्राइविंग करना नहीं जानते हैं तो हमें एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा कि हमें ड्राइविंग नहीं आती है, तभी हम सीखने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं. अगर हम सबको बोलते हैं नहीं मेरे को बहुत अच्छी ड्राइविंग आती है, तो हम सीखने से कतराएंगे कि लोग देख लेगा तो क्या बोलेगा, ये तो बोलता था कि आता है, तो जानता ही नहीं कुछ, है ना. तो ये प्रॉब्लम आती है, वहाँ पर हमें एक हेजिटेशन आता है. तो सबसे पहले हम बच्चे को एज इट इज एक्सेप्ट करें। होता क्या है कि हम बच्चे, डॉक्टर ने कहा कि आपके बच्चे को थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम है, उसकी सलाह हम औरों से बात करते हैं, लोग को बोलते हैं नहीं नहीं ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है, अभी ठीक हो जाएगा, देख लो अभी 2-4 दिन रुक जाओ, 2-4 महीने रुक जाओ। हमारे बच्चे 2-4 मतलब एग्जाम्पल आ जाते हैं उस समय, ऐसे हुआ था ऐसे हुआ था, ठीक हो जाएगा, इट विल बी क्योर, डोंट वरी। एंड उस समय के लिए सांत्वना मिल गया, कंसोलेशन मिल गया पेरेंट्स को, थोड़ी देर के लिए ये हो गया कि नहीं ठीक है। लेकिन होता क्या है कि उसमें हम क्या कर रहे हैं, टाइम को लैप्स कर रहे हैं, टाइम को वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, और उस टाइम को हम यूज कर सकते थे उसके बेहतरी के लिए, उसके बेटरमेंट के लिए हम यूज कर सकते हैं, बट हम नहीं कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हम कंसोल कर रहे हैं अपने आप को किसी तरह से। कोई क्या है कि चाइल्ड को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बट ये फैक्ट को छुपाने की बात है। अगर चाइल्ड को प्रॉब्लम है, अगर मेरे को प्रॉब्लम है, तो हमें एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए कि हमें प्रॉब्लम है, तभी हम प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने के लिए कुछ कर पाएंगे। तो ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा सोशल फैक्टर यू कैन से, और साइकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ द पेरेंट, और पेरेंटल फैक्टर है ये।
तो पेरेंट्स रियलिटी को एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं,
और हमें अपने मतलब ये कहने के समय हमारे अपने सोच में बिल्कुल क्लियरिटी होनी चाहिए कि नहीं, अगर है प्रॉब्लम तो ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, इसको हम इसके प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने का, ये प्रॉब्लम नहीं, कंडीशन है, कंडीशन है, कंडीशन किसी के साथ भी हो सकता है, कंडीशन कहीं भी हो सकता है, तो इस कंडीशन को हम कैसे ओवरकम करें। डिसेबिलिटी है, मतलब हियरिंग इम्पेयरमेंट है, मेंटल रिटार्डेशन है, इवन लोकल मोटर डिसेबिलिटी है, विजुअल इम्पेयरमेंट है, हम उसको कम नहीं कर सकते, बिल्कुल रिमूव नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन हाँ सपोर्ट करके जो भी एनर्जी है या जो भी हमारे पास सेंसेस बचे हुए हैं या जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बचे हुए हैं कैन से ब्रॉडर टर्म में, उसको हम यूज करने लायक बना सकते हैं। एटलीस्ट हियरिंग जितना बचा, रेसिडुअल हियरिंग जितना भी बचा हुआ है, उस हियरिंग को हम यूज करें। हियरिंग एड के थ्रू हम क्या करते हैं, हम उस हियरिंग को यूज करते हैं जी। उस हियरिंग को यूज करके हम बच्चे को काबिल बनाते हैं या एक नॉर्मल लाइफ लीड करने के लायक बनाते हैं, मेन स्ट्रीम में जाने के लायक बनाते हैं, ठीक है ना। तो हमारा रोल है कि एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, जब तक एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे हम उसको आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे।
तो रेसिडुअल कैपेसिटी आल्सो हैज एन इंपॉर्टेंट
रोल टू प्ले, दैट इज आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। इन द सेम वे, अब वहाँ पर से बच्चे को फिर है एक हमारा जो माइंडसेट है, हमें ये होना चाहिए कि नहीं सभी बच्चे हैं, सभी में कुछ कमियां होती हैं, सभी में कुछ पोटेंशियल होते हैं, सभी में कुछ गुण होते हैं जी। क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं है, सभी बच्चे में कोई ना कोई एक एक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक तो ऐसा होता है जो उसका स्पेसिफिक होता है सभी व्यक्ति में। किसी के पास लिसनिंग स्किल बहुत अच्छा है, किसी के पास स्पीकिंग स्किल बहुत अच्छा है, किसी के पास रनिंग स्किल बहुत अच्छा है, बट कोई ना कोई स्किल ऐसा है जो कि बहुत अच्छा है, मतलब स्ट्रेंथ है उस पर्सन का। तो यहाँ पर हम ये भी क्लियर करना चाहेंगे कि सभी चिल्ड्रन विद डिसेबिलिटी या सभी पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी का अपना एक स्ट्रेंथ होता है। जरूरत क्या है, नीड इज to
emphasize on the strength
and
rather
recognize first recognize the strength, then emphasize, then do something to use that strength, okay, for the person himself or for the society, for the community. So यहाँ पे हमें रिकॉग्नाइज करके प्रॉपरली उस एरिया में काम करना पड़ेगा जी। और उसके लिए क्या है, स्कूल भेजने की बात है। हम कहते हैं नहीं पढ़ेगा, क्यों नहीं पढ़ेगा, क्या सभी बच्चे पढ़ते हैं? सभी बच्चे जब पढ़ते हैं तभी पढ़ेगा, क्यों नहीं पढ़ेगा? सभी पढ़ते हैं तो बच्चे का काम है पढ़ना, तो पढ़ेगा। हम पहले से ये कैसे सोच लेते हैं कि नहीं पढ़ेंगे जी। इवन बहुत सारे बच्चों को पढ़ने में कठिनाइयाँ आती हैं, उस कठिनाई को दूर करते हैं। एक ये हमारा एज ए पेरेंट्स, एज ए टीचर, एज ए यू कैन से मेंटर, एज ए फैसिलिटेटर, दिस इज आवर रोल टू ओवरकम दोज प्रॉब्लम। तो वो करना पड़ता है। उसके लिए आपको स्कूल में जाना है, पेरेंट्स का यहाँ भी रोल है कि बच्चे को प्रॉपर स्कूल में दाखिला दिलाएं जी। दाखिला देने से घबराते हैं, वहाँ पर फेस करना पड़ता, हो सकता है हमारे जो स्कूल्स के एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है उनको भी कन्विंस करना है कि नहीं हमारे बच्चे के पास पोटेंशियल है, ये आपका काम है कन्विंस करना, आप कन्विंस करें। जैसे कि हम लोग क्या कौन सी फिल्म आई थी, तारे ज़मीन, उसमें क्या था, कन्विंस तो किया गया ना प्रिंसिपल को जी। हाँ, कन्विंस करने का काम किसी ने तो किया, उसी तरह से हम कन्विंस कर सकते हैं। अनलेस वी विल नॉट कन्विंस, नोबडी विल, बिकॉज यू आर द पर्सन हु हैज ऑल द नॉलेज अबाउट योर चाइल्ड। सो एज ए पेरेंट्स you have more role to play.
And even as professionals also it becomes a duty.
Yes, it becomes a duty. It becomes a duty of everybody, not only a professional. Professional, because it is their profession, they will do, they will certainly do. Yeah. But the other person who are having some sort of, even they are ignorant, they can do something.
Okay.
It is our duty to make them aware. Awareness, making awareness is also very important phenomena.
All right. So it's rightly said that we need to recognize and then emphasize on the strength of the person with the disability rather than only looking at their weakness. So on this note, we'll take a short break here and we'll be right back after the break.
ऑटिज्म एक व्यापक विकासात्मक विकलांगता है जिसके लक्षण जीवन के प्रथम 3 वर्ष में ही दिखाई पड़ते हैं, जैसे असंगत खेल, असमान स्थूल एवं सूक्ष्म गामक क्रियाएं, शाब्दिक संकेतों पर अभिव्यक्ति न देना।
Where is the cup? देखो, open your eyes, open करो, open करके, open.
नियमित कार्यक्रम परिवर्तन का विरोध करना एवं अवलोकनीय शारीरिक उच्च स्तरीय या निम्न स्तरीय क्रियाकलाप। UNCRPD 2007 सेक्शन 1 ऑफ आर्टिकल 4 निशक्तता के क्षेत्र में कार्यरत प्रोफेशनल के प्रशिक्षण पर महत्व देता है। ऑटिज्म के क्षेत्र में सरकारी एवं गैर सरकारी संस्थाएं कार्यरत हैं जो भारतीय पुनर्वास परिषद द्वारा पंजीकृत हैं। सोसाइटी फॉर एडवांस स्टडी इन रिहैबिलिटेशन एक ऐसी ही गैर सरकारी संस्था है। कनिष्क 13 साल का एक ऑटिस्टिक बच्चा है जो इसी संस्था से प्रशिक्षण प्राप्त कर रहा है। असंगत क्रियाएं, कार्यकलापों में निरस्ता, असमान स्थूल एवं सूक्ष्म गामक क्रियाएं जैसे बॉडी रॉकिंग और फिंगर रिगलिंग उसमें देखी जा सकती है। उसे मैचिंग और पेस्टिंग, पॉइंटिंग जैसी क्रियाएं सिखाई जाती हैं।
Very good. Glass. Where is the glass? Glass. Very good. कप को टच करो जल्दी से। कप को। Where is the cup? Very good. कप में क्या करता है कनिष्क? टी पीता है। चलो ग्लास। Where is the glass? Very good. चलो बाउल की तरह बाउल जल्दी से टच करो बाउल को। Very good. बाउल में क्या करता है कनिष्क?
तथा साथ ही साथ रोजमर्रा की आवश्यकताएं जैसे खाना, पीना, कपड़े पहनना, और व्यायाम संबंधी प्रशिक्षण दिया जाता है। ऑटिस्टिक बच्चों को भिन्न भिन्न प्रकार की कार्यविधियां उनके स्तर के अनुसार सिखाई जाती हैं, जैसे कुछ बच्चों के लिए कलरिंग विद इन वन एरिया, मैचिंग एंड आइडेंटिफिकेशन, फाइन मोटर स्किल्स, आई हैंड कोऑर्डिनेशन, कंसेप्ट ऑफ वेजिटेबल्स, फ्रूट्स, बॉडी पार्ट्स, कलर्स पर जोर दिया जाता है तथा कुछ को प्रश्न पढ़ के उत्तर देने में और रोजमर्रा की आवश्यकताओं को पूरा करने में सक्षम बनाया जाता है। इसके अलावा राइम्स, डांसिंग, सिंगिंग द्वारा लेजर एंड रिक्रिएशनल एक्टिविटीज में भाग लेने के लिए प्रोत्साहित किया जाता है। इन सभी कार्यकलापों एवं प्रशिक्षण का एकमात्र उद्देश्य उन्हें स्वनिर्भर बनाना है ताकि ये डगमगाते पांव सक्षम बन जीवन के एक एक पायदान पर दृढ़ता से आगे बढ़ें और अपनी मंजिल को पा लें। एक तारा टिमटिमाता, उसने आकाश को छू लिया। एक लौ जली कहीं, उसने अंधकार को मिटा दिया।
एप्टीट्यूड है।
वेलकम बैक आफ्टर द ब्रेक। सर, जैसे अब तक हमने इतनी इमोशनल इम्बैलेंस की बात की, हमने बिहेवियर्स के बारे में बात की, नेगेटिव बिहेवियर्स भी किए, पॉजिटिव बिहेवियर्स भी किए। अब अगर हम पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट की बात करते हैं, तो ऐसे कौन से फैक्टर्स हैं जो पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट को इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं, या फिर पर्सनालिटी एग्जैक्टली डेवलप किस तरह होती है?
See, when we talk about the personality development, here development word is also along with the personality. When we talk about any type of development, whether it is personality, whether it is physical development, whether it is behavioral development, for any type of development, it requires the support of the environment, surroundings. Like when we go to the definition of personality, just see that a comprehensive definition has been given by a very important psychologist, that personality is a combination, you can say combination of psychophysical system. This is a combination of psychophysical system which determines the person's unique adjustment with the environment.
Okay.
So, see here adjustment word is also included. So, these two combination of these two systems make the person able to adjust with the surroundings or environment.
Right.
And now the question, you will not adjust with the environment unless you will not recognize the environment. So, यहाँ पर recognition of environment है ना ज़्यादा important है
जी.
ठीक है. अब देखिए recognition कैसे hamper करता है. See, there is a you can say important trait. Trait means important feature you can say, yeah, we call it trait. So, feature that is called RSE, recognition of social environment. Okay. RSE, this is you can say it's a terms of social intelligence also. So, recognition of social environment. What happens here, that a person should be able to recognize what is the demand of the environment. As we are talking here, whether that person is required here or not, the person should have the capacity to understand whether, in the same way children, every child should have the capacity to understand, even not only child, rather every person should have the capacity to understand whether what is the demand of the environment. Like we are in the classroom and we are talking with each other, is it a demand of the environment? No, not at all,
right.
Because classroom requires listening and somebody is just speaking,
right.
like me. And some people are listening.
Yeah.
So, this is the classroom environment, but
yeah.
if 2 or 3 students or persons you can say are talking, this is undesirable behavior of that environment. In the same way, what happens, so we must make the child learn that how to recognize the environment and how to react out of that.
Okay.
In the same normal phenomena, what happens, if 2 adults are talking, adults member of the home are talking, it is basically we make the children learn that children should not intervene in the discussion of the adult unless it is not required by them,
right.
required by unless it is not asked by the adults concerned.
Yeah.
And if child is coming in between and putting some question, this is undesirable behavior on the part of the child. But what is our role there? How we react? Go, जाओ, चलो. If we react like that, the child immediately feel how he will feel, he or she will feel embarrassed
and neglected.
Yes, neglected.
Right.
And some sort of thinking will start. Why it happens? उसके जब फिर हम कह सकते हैं कि ठीक है, हम आपकी बात का जवाब देंगे, 2 मिनट हमें टाइम दे दीजिए.
जी.
ठीक है, ये ठीक है, आपका क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छा है, हम थोड़ी देर में आपसे बात करते हैं. ठीक है, वहाँ पर जो फीलिंग आएगा और वो पहले वाले में, दोनों फीलिंग में अंतर हो जाएगा. तो ये डिफरेंस जो फीलिंग का आएगा ना, यहाँ पर भी डेवलपमेंट हैम्पर करेगा. क्योंकि अब जब भी हमने निगेट कर दिया क्वेश्चन को, निगेट करने के बाद क्या होता है, जो फीलिंग थिंकिंग स्टार्ट होता है, वो थिंकिंग बहुत देर तक चलता है. अभी 2 दिन पहले क्या हुआ कि हमारी किसी के मोटरसाइकिल में मेरा थोड़ा सा टच कर गया गाड़ी से. अब वो बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान, हमारे को परेशान करने लगा, ऐसे करना है, ये करना, वो करना. अल्टीमेटली ठीक है, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो गया, बट वो फीलिंग मेरे पास 3 दिन तक मेरे को हॉन्ट करता रहा कि उसने मेरे को ये क्यों बोला, उसने मेरे को ये क्यों, हमने क्या किया था, कुछ नहीं किया था, थोड़ा सा मोटरसाइकिल में एक उस हल्का सा टच किया था, इतना बड़ा भी अपराध नहीं हो गया जिसके लिए उसने इतना बोला मेरे को। लेकिन हम ये नहीं सोच पाए कि उस व्यक्ति का वही स्तर था। अब हम नहीं करेंगे उस तरह की बात, बट यहाँ पर चूंकि हम ग्रोन अप है सोच भी सकते हैं, बच्चा ये भी नहीं सोच पाएगा कि क्यों ऐसा हुआ, बट उसमें वो हाउंट करता है, वो चलता है। नेगेटिव थिंकिंग नहीं, ये थिंकिंग बहुत ही टफ वे में चलता है, चाहे वो बच्चा कोई भी हो, चाइल्ड विद डिसेबिलिटी हो, चाइल्ड विद डिप्राइवेशन हो, चाइल्ड विद कुछ भी हो, थिंकिंग चलता ही चलता है। तो वो थिंकिंग जो है माइंड को नेगेटिव वे में हैम्पर करता है।
ओके।
और जब माइंड को हैम्पर करेगा तो अल्टीमेटली क्या होगा, माइंड को हैम्पर करेगा, बिहेवियर हैम्पर होगा। तो बिहेवियर जब हैम्पर होगा तो फिर क्या होगा, देन इट मीन्स बिहेवियर इज गोइंग इन ए नेगेटिव डायरेक्शन। और आपका फिर पॉजिटिव में लाने के लिए आपको फिर प्रोफेशनल हेल्प लेना पड़ेगा। तो क्यों नहीं है, जब जहाँ पर जनरेट हो रहा है बिहेवियर हम वहीं पे उसको ठीक कर लें। फीवर आ रहा है उसी समय हम डॉक्टर से मिल लें, इस पर इंतजार करेंगे कि नहीं इसको टाइफाइड में कन्वर्ट होने दो, तब जाएंगे, ऐसा तो नहीं करते ना। इन द सेम वे जब हम एक डिजीज को ले सकते हैं उस तरह से, हल्के डिजीज को, तो हम किसी कंडीशन को भी लें जहाँ पे ज़रूरत है प्रोफेशनल हेल्प की, प्रोफेशनल हेल्प लें। जहाँ पे ज़रूरत है हमारी हेल्प की, मीन्स पेरेंट्स, एज ए पेरेंट्स हम हेल्प कर सकते हैं तो हम करेंगे, बट उसके लिए हमें भी तैयार होना पड़ेगा। पेरेंटल ट्रेनिंग भी जरूरी है, वहाँ पे हमें भी जानने की ज़रूरत है कि हमें कैसे रिएक्ट करना है। तो ये मैंने एग्जाम्पल दिया, जस्ट आई हैव गिवन एन एग्जाम्पल दैट दिस टाइप ऑफ फीचर सिचुएशन मे अराइज। So in the same way, that if that factor like RAC, recognition of social environment, or you can say that ability to recognize the social environment, if that hampers at the very beginning of developmental stage, personality development stuck.
Okay.
Yes. So that becomes a, you can say, hurdle for the personality development.
Right.
And that may go in a negative direction.
That will
Development
lead
is
to
there.
the undesirable behaviors.
Development cannot
ultimately.
stop,
Yeah.
but that may develop in a undesirable
Direction
manner
or
or
maybe
direction,
manner,
you can
yeah.
say. So this is one of the phenomena. In the same way, you can say that somebody or some child having a good intelligence, intelligence, that I have already told that this is a capacity, intelligence capacity, but the child is not getting proper chance, opportunity to use that intelligence.
जी.
And like every child, I have already told, I am repeatedly telling that every children has or having good potential, or every child is unique in their own manner. So अगर हम ये वहाँ पे इंटेलिजेंस है एक बच्चे के पास, एक बच्चा हियरिंग इम्पेयर्ड है, बहुत अच्छा इंटेलिजेंस, मैंने तो कई बच्चों को देखा, दे आर हाईली कॉम्पिटेंट एंड बहुत ज़्यादा इंटेलिजेंस कैपेसिटी होता है उनके पास। बस वहाँ पर परेशानी इसी बात की होती है कि हम उस कैपेसिटी को पहचान नहीं पाते हैं कितना इंटेलिजेंट है, क्योंकि हम पहले से मान के बैठते हैं कि ये इंटेलिजेंट नहीं, इंटेलिजेंट की तो बात ही नहीं आती है, ये कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा जी, कैपेबिलिटी नहीं है क्योंकि ये डिसेबल्ड है। हम डिसेबिलिटी को एक मतलब गारंटेड मान लेते हैं कि डिसेबिलिटी जहाँ है वहाँ कुछ नहीं हो सकता, ऐसी कोई बात है नहीं। हम भी डिसेबल्ड है किसी न किसी तरह से, हर व्यक्ति डिसेबल्ड है किसी न किसी तरह से। हम हो सकता है कोई बात नहीं, एंकरिंग नहीं जानते हैं तो हम डिसेबल्ड हैं, आपके सामने बिल्कुल, बिकॉज यू हैव ए स्किल, है ना। तो वहाँ पर यही इस बात को, छोटी छोटी बात को हम कहते हैं सोशल फैक्टर, और साइकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर और सोशल फैक्टर में हम सभी बात को किसी कहना ये हमारा डे टू डे लाइफ है, ये है सोशल फैक्टर। और ये डे टू डे लाइफ को अगर हम प्रॉपरली बस केवल ध्यान देते चलें, जैसे हम रोड पे चलते हैं तो क्यों ध्यान देते हैं कि कहाँ चल रहे हैं, इधर कहीं गाड़ी से कोई आ नहीं रहा है, इधर से कोई मोटरसाइकिल से, इसलिए ध्यान देते हैं कि कहीं हमारा टच नहीं कर जाए। इन द सेम वे हम जो बिहेवियर करते हैं केवल उस पर ध्यान देते चलें कि कहीं कोई टकराव नहीं हो जाए, तो हम बचे रहेंगे और अच्छा डेवलपमेंट होगा। पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट वही है, सिंपल, जस्ट टेक केयर एंड गो विद योर माइलस्टोन, सी द माइलस्टोन, इफ यू रीच द माइलस्टोन यू हैव ए अचीवमेंट। तो ये माइलस्टोन अचीव करने वाली बात है ना, वहाँ पर हमें थोड़ा अलर्ट रहना पड़ता है। जैसे हम रोड पे अलर्ट रहते हैं, ये बिहेवियर का जो लंबा पैटर्न है, ये एक रोड है, इस पर हमें अलर्ट रहना है। और अब जैसे जैसे हम अलर्ट रहते हुए चलेंगे, हमें निश्चित तौर पे हम अपने आने वाली बाधाओं को भी सरपास करते चले जाएंगे, क्योंकि हम बाधाएं तो आती, रोड पर चलते चलते हैं तो सभी चल रहे हैं वहाँ पे, लेकिन हम सेफली निकल जाते हैं, क्यों, हम अलर्ट हैं। जो अलर्ट नहीं होते हो सकता है उनके साथ प्रॉब्लम होता भी है। इस सेम वे अगर हम अलर्ट हैं यानी कि हम केयर करते चले जा रहे हैं, तो ठीक है, एक बच्चे का पालन पोषण करना है, एक बच्चे को प्रॉपर गाइडेंस देना है, एक बच्चे को प्रॉपर वे में उसके सोशल रिहेबिलिटेशन करना है, या एक सोशल मेन स्ट्रीम में इस्टेब्लिश करना भी हमारा एक उद्देश्य है, ऑब्जेक्टिव है। उस ऑब्जेक्टिव को पूरा करने के लिए हम कुछ काम करते हैं, एफर्ट करते हैं। तो दैट एफर्ट मस्ट लीड टू ए प्रॉपर एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ द चाइल्ड इन ए सोसाइटी। और उस एस्टेब्लिशमेंट में हमें कहाँ कहाँ क्या प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है उसको हमें केयर करना है। केवल केयर करने का मतलब है कि प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है अगर, तो उसको शुरू में रिकॉग्नाइज करो और किनारे करो। अगर आ गया है तो उसको समझा बुझा के थोड़ा सा आगे करो, और बहुत ज़्यादा बैठा हुआ है तो उसको प्रॉपरली वैकेट करके एक नए चीज़ को एस्टेब्लिश करो। क्या करते हैं, वैकेट करते हैं ना, जब किसी नए को किसी बिहेवियर को हम बच्चे को सिखलाते हैं कि ग्रीट करो, नमस्ते करो, ठीक है, नमस्ते करना सिखाए, उसके इसका मतलब क्या है कि पहले नहीं आता था, तो वो बिहेवियर एक नया बिहेवियर जनरेट किया। यहाँ पर जनरेशन ऑफ न्यू बिहेवियर, ठीक है, न्यू बिहेवियर। बट जहाँ पर होता है बच्चे को हम बोलते हैं कि नहीं नहीं, तुम किसी को गलत बात मत बोलो। इसका मतलब क्या है कि सुने हैं कि कहीं गलत बात बोलता है, तब हम उसको मॉडिफाई करते हैं। तो मॉडिफिकेशन ऑफ बिहेवियर इज अनदर फैक्टर ऑफ पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट। तो मॉडिफिकेशन जब हम करते हैं तो वहाँ क्या करते हैं, एक बिहेवियर को हटाते हैं, दूसरा बिहेवियर को रखते हैं, रिप्लेस करते हैं। ये ऐसे ही है कि अगर जैसे आप एक सिंपल एग्जांपल, हम लोग बचपन में हम लोगों को साइंस में पढ़ाया नहीं गया था, बट एक एक्सपेरिमेंट हम लोगों को मेरे टीचर ने किया था कि वो एक गुलाब जल होता है, गुलाब जल, रोज़ वाटर, तो उसमें क्या आता है कि गुलाब जल को जैसे जैसे ऊपर से टपका पानी, उसका वो बाहर आता चलेगा और पानी अपना शेप लेता चला जाएगा। तो ये टाइम विल कम दैट द बॉटल विल बी फुल विथ वाटर एंड द होल गुलाब मतलब रोज वाटर विल बी आउट। ठीक है, यही मतलब सेम फैक्टर लागू होता है एयर पे। एयर जहाँ पे रहता है, एयर जहाँ जहाँ एक्यूमुलेट करता है वहाँ पर से वो सब्सटेंस हटता चला जाता है, एयर उस स्पेस को ले लेता है। तो जब हम कहीं कोई भी जगह को खाली करते हैं तो वहाँ पे कुछ ना कुछ स्पेस आता है। अगर बच्चे को हम ये सिखलाते हैं कि मारपीट नहीं करनी चाहिए या डोंट हिट अदर, इट मीन्स हिटिंग बिहेवियर को एलिमिनेट कर रहे हैं और नॉट हिटिंग बिहेवियर को एस्टैब्लिश कर रहे हैं। तो व्हेन एवर वी एस्टैब्लिश ए न्यू बिहेवियर वी आर एलिमिनेटिंग सम ओल्ड बिहेवियर। ठीक है, तो इस चीज को भी हम रिप्लेसमेंट ऑफ बिहेवियर, मॉडिफिकेशन ऑफ बिहेवियर, दिस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द बेसिक इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स ऑफ पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट। These are the things, yes.
So these are the things that contribute to the development of the personality in a child.
Yes.
Not necessarily with the disability, but with everybody.
I am telling you, we should not perceive the disabled child as a unique child. We should perceive as it is, means like other child. Only the difference that this child is different from other. In the same way, every child is different from other. So we should perceive same to every children, including the children with disability. So our mindset should be same or uniform for each and every child.
Okay.
Not for the only for the child with disability.
Okay. तो जैसे ये तो सर पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट की बात हुई। अब अगर हम इंटेलिजेंस की बात करते हैं तो इंटेलिजेंस किस प्रकार से ग्रो होती है,
very good question. Intelligence, so far as the intelligence is concerned, I would like to emphasize that I have already described the intelligence. What it is basically is the capacity to understand, capacity to rationalize even. Rationalize means capacity to
journalize,
think rationally, act purposefully and deal effectively with the environment. This is the three factors. These are the three factors. Means act purposefully. If we are acting, if we are making action, but there is no purpose behind that, what does it mean? What does it mean?
I mean we are reacting without any reason,
without any purpose,
without any
purposeless reaction.
Okay.
So that is a play basically. When we play, we don't have any purpose. Not cricket, I am not talking about the cricket. Don't think like that. Because cricket has a purpose, football has a purpose. That play means just for the fun.
Okay.
For the fun, that is also a person getting fun, but we do not means specify that this type of fun I need to going to get, but somehow or other we get something, but without making a purpose, without defining a purpose. So there is no definition of purpose there. So, purposeful action is a intelligence. When we make any action, there is a purpose behind that. So, that action is a intelligent action.
Okay.
In the same way, rational thinking, our thinking should be yes, no, why we are doing these are the three factors of behavior. You can say what, why and how. So, these three factors of behavior is a rational behavior. When we discuss about these three factors before going for any behavior, before doing any behavior, it means our behavior is having rational. If I am talking with some proper rational, it means our talking behavior is okay. If I am talking absurd, it means there is no rational behind that, and our behavior is not accepted by other.
Yeah.
Means our talk is not accepted by other. This is also very important. Means rationality should be there if I want to be intelligent.
Okay.
So, we must learn the child, we must teach the child what is wrong, what is right, why it is, only to develop the rational behavior. And child is coming with the question, why it is, how it is, what it is,
Where it is.
where it is. No, this question must be answered properly, so that rationality could be established and it can develop in a proper direction.
Right.
So, this second factor, and third factors will deal effectively with the environment.
Okay.
Or adjust effectively with the environment. Adjustment is also very important. Adjustment is also a, you can say, the outcome of so many factors. We can only adjust if we understand the environment, as I have already told. So, for understanding anything, you need to have some factors, some you can say trait, and some of are that patience, you can say.
Okay.
Patience. Unless you will not listen, you will not understand. For listening, patience is required. Cooperativeness. If I am not cooperating you cannot ask question to me. You ask question, I will not reply. What happened? You will be.
I mean, I'll be the one who's talking and
Yes,
you're not responding to me appropriately.
you will be frustrated after some time.
Yeah.
So, cooperativeness is required for anything. In the same way, you can say that confidence. Confidence is also one of the behavior. You can say intelligence. These are the part of intelligence I am telling you.
Okay.
So, confidence, if confidence is also required to be developed in a proper direction, not so much confidence. Overconfidence is also bad, and underconfidence is also bad. So, confidence should be balanced. We should not be overconfident. In that way, people do some sort of you can say wrong act in overconfidence. And next, tactfulness. This is also one of the very important, because we have to deal so many environment, we have to deal with the many crisis situation that all requires tactful dealing. Sensitivity, we must be sensitive to other, must be sensitive to environment, must be sensitive to surroundings. These are the things which must be taken.
Being empathetic is equally important.
Empathetic is something slightly high word.
Okay.
And not very normal word. We don't use basically, we use, but in a certain situation.
All right.
Not always, because you cannot empathize everything, but you can have patience for everything. You can have cooperativeness for everywhere. You can have confidence for everything. You should be tactful everywhere, but you cannot empathize everywhere.
Okay.
Empathy and sympathy, this is not required everywhere. So, this is not standardized terms.
Okay.
And then you can say memory, this is also important. So, memory is also required practice. If it is not practiced properly, memory will not be sharpened.
Okay.
For getting it sharp, proper means practice is required.
And then retention is equally.
Retention is a part of memory.
Yeah.
Retention is a part of memory.
Yeah.
And then you can say that a very important factor, that is sense of humor.
Okay.
That is also very important, sense of humor. So, that sense of, if you are talking and without having any humor, everything become bore. So, that sense of humor is also very important. So, all these factors should be properly generated in the child, so that proper personality development could take place. And for this, every person around the child is responsible.
Okay.
Because child is telling something, I am not listening. See, what happens? Child will also not listen when I will tell something.
He will learn the same behavior.
Yeah, same behavior, model
Yeah.
behavior, model behavior. That will take the child will take it as a model, because listening is not necessary.
Yeah.
In their term, listening is not necessary. So what happens? He or she will develop the same behavior. So behavior pattern will be the same. So in this way, these are the factor which is a factor of intelligence, and ultimately what happens? This intelligence is going to contribute to the personality development. Okay. So this personality development take place only with the help of intelligence and their allied factors. Factors. So all this equally important for the children with disability or person with disability, and we should take care of all the things. If we are taking care of a child having no disability, we should take care all the things of the child having disability. There should not be segregation.
ओके, बट सर डोंट यू थिंक ये जो ट्रेट्स आपने बताए, जो एलाइट फैक्टर्स आपने हमें बताए, यू नो ऑलमोस्ट ऑल ऑफ देम यू नो कैन बी डेवलप्ड इन अ चाइल्ड deliberately also, and some of them they learn from the environment itself?
Yes, it is not deliberately, you can say they learn from, but their direction and sequence may be different. But if it is being generated, it is being developed in a proper manner, in a time bound manner, or under your proper supervision, then you are confident as a parent.
Yeah.
So that will also very important. Somebody is telling that your child is doing this, I am confident that he cannot do like that. So in that manner, I have a confidence in my child. Otherwise, I will be suspicious. So it will also become a psychological factor.
Okay.
So this also should these are the things which must be taken care. This is not a thing which is I am telling very easily, but in practice it is not so easy. But at least we should make effort to practice all these things.
Okay. सर जैसे अगर हम इंटरवेंशन की बात करते हैं, तो इंटरवेंशन का क्या रोल है? अच्छा सर, उससे पहले कि हम इंटरवेंशन पे जाएं, वी ऑफन यू नो यूज द टर्म्स इंटरवेंशन एंड गाइडेंस. सो आर दीज यू नो two terms?
No, these are the two terms.
Okay, separate
terms.
Okay.
And they have the separate significance also. So far as the intervention is concerned, I will say you that intervention means to come in between.
Okay.
If something is coming in between us, that is intervening because what is coming in between? We are talking and the audience are there.
Okay.
So we are talking for the audience. So we are intervening, or the audience are intervening with our effort. In the same way, disease, somebody having a fever, person and fever, these are the two variables, and medicine is intervening.
Okay.
So come in between.
Is enter.
Yeah, enter in between. Enter. Something is there, something is here, and I am going
in between.
In between.
Yeah.
It means intervention.
Okay.
Intervention. So intervention with proper purpose.
All right.
Intervention is not you can say
Purposeless.
Intervention cannot be purposeless.
Yeah,
there must be some purpose. If we intervene in between two variables, that means intervention is okay. Unless without two variables we cannot intervene. So here where we are intervening? Children and disability.
Yes.
We are intervening with some strategy. Person, disability, and we are intervening with some strategy.
Right.
So these are the things which intervention, and guidance. Guidance is a tool of intervention.
Okay.
This is one of the tool for intervention. With guidance we intervene. So through guidance we can guide somebody how to manage the disability. It means I am guiding the person to manage with the disability. I am guiding the person to manage with the fever. I am guiding the patient to manage with the tension. I am guiding the patient to manage with the stressful situation. So this is intervention between a stressful situation and the person. So guidance is one of the tool
of the intervention.
Yes, and a tool of the intervention. Okay. So intervention is much broader term than guidance.
Okay, and counseling also comes under the intervention.
See, counseling is a professional term basically.
Yes.
Counseling is professional term. It means somebody is with before me having some specific purposeful question, purposeful problem which needs solution.
Okay.
If it is not purposeful, if the problem is not there, problem has no meaning, it means this is no counseling is required. If the problem has a meaning, it means the counseling is required. And we as a professional we come with the some effective solution,
Of that particular problem.
and as a professional we only give the solution to the person and tell that just use it, and now it depends on the person whether he is using or not. We cannot force the person to use, we can just suggest, we can give the solution, but we cannot observe all the time. So, this is sort of counseling, and the person themselves they develop the urge, you can say, to use or implement that. Yeah.
Okay, before we move on और हमारे discussion को हम आगे बढ़ाएं, we'll take a short break here and we'll be right back after the break.
The state of knowledge exists. The will, the capacity, and method are usually the problem. मानसिक मंदता एक ऐसी विकलांगता है जो 18 वर्ष की आयु से पूर्व कभी भी हो सकती है, जिसमें व्यवहार अनुकूलता में कमी एवं बुद्धि क्षमता 70% से कम होती है। Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. भारतीय पुनर्वास परिषद द्वारा देश भर में पंजीकृत केंद्र इस बात को प्रमाणित करते हैं। NIMH प्रादेशिक केंद्र नई दिल्ली एक ऐसा ही केंद्र है जहां छात्रों को प्रशिक्षण दिया जाता है। जिसके उपरांत वे मंद बुद्धि बच्चों की सेवा में नियुक्त होते हैं। क्लासरूम टीचिंग, ग्रुप टीचिंग एवं भारतीय पुनर्वास परिषद के नव शिखर चैनल पर प्रसारित टेलीकॉन्फ्रेंसेस द्वारा संबंधित विषयों पर विस्तार पूर्वक ज्ञान दिया जाता है। मेडिकल, ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपी, फिजियोथेरेपी, स्पीच थेरेपी, साइकोलॉजी और स्पेशल एजुकेशन जैसे क्षेत्रों में छात्रों को प्रशिक्षित किया जाता है। प्रयोगात्मक अनुभव एवं अभ्यास के लिए टीचर ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम के उपरांत छात्रों को मंद बुद्धि बच्चों के साथ कक्षाओं में नियुक्त किया जाता है और इंडिविजुअलाइज्ड एजुकेशन प्लान का भी आधार बनाया जाता है, जिससे वे संपूर्ण शिक्षा एवं चिकित्सा शैली को समझ सकें। इस पूरे प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम के दौरान विद्यार्थी जर्नल्स, न्यूज़लेटर्स, पेरियोडिकल्स, चार्ट्स, मॉडल्स, कंप्यूटर ट्रेनिंग एवं टेक्स्ट बुक्स का उपयोग कर सकते हैं। कहते हैं, कीप योर फेस टू द सनशाइन एंड यू कैन नॉट सी द शैडो। इसी बात को ध्यान में रखते हुए विद्यार्थियों को सरकारी एवं गैर सरकारी संस्थाओं में नियुक्त किया जाता है, जहां वे मंद बुद्धि बच्चों के लिए निरीक्षण, प्रशिक्षण एवं अनुसंधान का दायित्व संभालते हैं। और इसके पश्चात ये विद्यार्थी इस प्रशिक्षण का उपयोग मंदबुद्धि बच्चों के सामाजिक एवं शैक्षणिक उत्थान एवं विकास में करते हैं और एक लक्ष्य की ओर आगे बढ़ते हैं। और फिर लक्ष्य कितना ही दूर हो, फासला नजरों का धोखा भी तो हो सकता है। वो मिले या ना मिले, हाथ बढ़ाकर देखो।
हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday.
This is Aparna. She loves chess and Shah Rukh Khan. Her best friend is Swati. She also has visual impairment. This is Neeraj. He plays many instruments. He loves Mohammad Rafi and cricket. He also uses crutches for mobility.
चंदा है तू, मेरा सूरज है तू,
This is Raj Bala.
मेरी आँखों का तारा है तू, जीती हूँ मैं बस तुझे देख कर।
With her husband and daughter. She loves cooking and watching TV.
सूरज है तू, आ मेरी आँखों का तारा है तू।
She also has cerebral palsy. Look beyond the disability. Look at the person.
वेलकम बैक आफ्टर द ब्रेक। मैं एक बार फिर हमारे व्यूअर्स को याद दिला दूं कि आप चाहें तो हमारे एक्सपर्ट से प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं आज के टॉपिक से रिलेटेड। आप कॉल कर सकते हैं हमारे टोल फ्री नंबर पे विच इज़ 1800112008। हमारा लैंडलाइन नंबर है 26511613 और हमारा फैक्स नंबर है 26511609। तो सर ब्रेक पे जाने से पहले हम इंटरवेंशंस की बात कर रहे थे। पेरेंटल एटीट्यूड की अगर हम बात करते हैं, सो इज इट अ साइकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर और इज इट अ सोशल फैक्टर?
No, so far as the parental attitude is concerned, this is if we segregate both the terms parent and attitude, attitude is a psychological factor and parent, obviously it's a social, you can say social agent, you can say. But when it combines like parental attitude, how the parental attitude basically affects the child or children with disability, because our purpose is know how it affects the children with disability, then it becomes a psychosocial factor, parental attitude. And obviously parental attitude, as we are discussing from the very beginning of our discussion, that parental attitude is the base of everything. All the intervention will depend on the parental attitude. Unless the parent is not ready to accept the child, that acceptance is also a part of the attitude. And if you are eager to do something for the child, it means if you are eager to at least make the child able to exist in the society or to do something for the society, that requires some sort of positive attitude. So, this positive attitude certainly helps the child in whole life pattern. So, this is one of the things which always we must take care, that attitude itself is a very important word for the rehabilitation. Not only parental attitude, other community attitude, siblings attitude, peer group attitudes, all this, because attitude plays a very important, because we, attitude is what we keep some sort of you can say image about the person concerned. So, this hampers or some type, if we are having positive attitude, it may also give some sort of means extra gain to the person sometime, and sometimes it helps in a proper way. Extra gain means the person is not deserving, but I have the aptitude. In that way the person is getting something extra, but the person is in the same line. If the thinking, our thinking and the person behavior is on the same line, it means the attitude is okay. And the positive attitude is working there. So, attitude, parental attitude is psychosocial factor, and that is the, you can say that is the focus of our discussion from the very beginning, I must say.
तो जैसे सर अब तक हमने बात की कि बच्चा जब छोटा होता है तो क्या किस तरह से पर्सनालिटी डेवलप होता है, इंटेलिजेंस डेवलप होता है. नाउ सपोज बच्चा जो है वो एक एडल्ट बन गया है, सो एट दैट एज वोकेशनल रिहैबिलिटेशन इज इक्वली इम्पोर्टेंट.
Vocational very important, because ultimate aim is the mainstreaming of the child or the person in a society. For that vocational rehabilitation is an important stage, you can say. For that, as a professional, I will suggest that vocation is necessary for every person and for every you can say society. So, our ultimate aim, even everybody ultimate aim is to achieve a proper vocation, so that our livelihood could be maintained and we can establish ourselves in the society. In the same way, if we are having the proper knowledge of the aptitude of the child or the person, then the vocational rehabilitation will be having the more impact. Because see, so far as the person with disability or children with disabilities are concerned, if we assess their aptitude before getting them into a proper vocation, it will be beneficial for them. Because all persons do not have same aptitude. Everybody differs in their aptitude. Somebody has the good singing attitude, somebody has the good scientific aptitude, somebody having the good managerial aptitude, somebody having the good mathematical aptitude. So, this must be assessed. Somebody having the good manual work aptitude. So, all this must be assessed before getting the child into a proper training program or proper training vocation for training. So, this must be assessed, and there are so many psychological tests are available for assessing the aptitude of the child, and the same test which have been standardized for every children, the same test could be used, or some new test can also be standardized as per the requirement of the existing requirement, you can say, because that consists of many things like physical environment, psychological environment, geographical environment, all these have taken care when we talk about the aptitude. So, in nutshell I can say that aptitude assessment is must before giving the person with disability in a proper vocation for training. So this must be taken care of while
So therefore
when
vocational,
we
yeah.
thought of the vocational rehabilitation.
Yeah,
Yes.
so therefore, you know, vocational rehabilitation is equally important, so
Yes,
that he can
equally
act as a,
well, that will ultimate objective of the
Yeah.
rehabilitation. Yes.
ओके सो आज हमने काफ़ी सारे पॉइंट्स डिस्कस किए अपने एक्सपर्ट के साथ अबाउट द साइको सोशल एस्पेक्ट फॉर द डिसेबिलिटी, जिसमें हमने पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट, इंटेलिजेंस की बात की, वोकेशनल रिहैबिलिटेशन की बात की, इंटरवेंशन की बात की, और ना ही सिर्फ पेरेंट्स का क्या रोल होता है यू नो इन अ लाइफ ऑफ अ पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी और विद अ लाइफ और इन अ लाइफ ऑफ पर्सन हु इज़ नॉन डिसेबल्ड, बल्कि you know being the member of the society, it becomes our responsibility कि हम learning process को enhance करें to act as the contributing member of the society. सर मैं थैंक यू कहना चाहूँगी आपको फॉर
Thank you very
कमिंग
much.
हियर, एंड आपने इतनी अच्छी इन्फॉर्मेशन, इतनी ज़रूरी इन्फॉर्मेशन आज हमारे साथ शेयर की.
Thank you.
हम अगली बार फिर लौटेंगे एक नए डिस्कशन और नए एक्सपर्ट के साथ. देखते रहिए RCI का नवशिखर चैनल. थैंक यू
Okay.
सर.